What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today we're learning to play some Battlewasps. It is a new archetype that was fully revealed at the date of recording this. I want to say like 2 days ago, but no, it's an anime archetype. It is they're all winged insects that just focus on spamming the field and then making some synchro-y boys. But yeah, their whole gimmick is battling. As the name might suggest, they are battle wasp. Their whole game plan is just to deal as much damage as possible and then hopefully protect themselves from a bit of a beatdown themselves. But let's get right into the deck profile. Starting with our monster lineup, we are running all of the battle wasp at free, as well as free primitive butterfly. So we'll start with primitive butterfly. It's a level 5 wind insect that says if you control no monsters, you can special summon it from your hand, and once returned, you can increase the level of all insect type monsters you control by 1. So that does help us get to specific levels if we need it. It is a special summon, so it's kind of nice. And it does provide us some tribute fuel, which will become necessary later. So we will explain that in a second. Now let's go over the Battle Wasp. So we'll actually start at the lower levels on this one because they're kind of more important. So we're starting with Dart the Hunter. It is level 1, 100 attack and defense. And when your Battle Wasp monster destroys a monster that is owned by your opponent by battle, you can discard this card to inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So that's kind of the thing about Battlewasp, that you have a sort of beat down and burn thing. Just deal as much damage as possible, like I said. But let's Dart has another function though. So you can target one other insect monster you control. She is a tuner this turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters this turn. Or you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except insects as a hard once per turn. So, 1 second. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. So this archetype only has one tuner, which we'll get to in a little bit. So being able to turn any other insect into a tuner is kind of huge. But yeah, Dart, it does certainly have its functions. But let's keep going with Battle Wasp to pin the bullseye. Best art in the entire archetype right here. Just look at them. Yeah, you're going to take a second. We're just going to appreciate pin the bullseye. Okay, good. We've appreciated pin the bullseye enough. So, 1 second. Alright, so I'm back. I had to check something with iTunes, but yeah, pin the bullseye. It special summons itself if you control an insect. During your main phase, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each pin the bullseye you control as a hard once per turn. So it's a free summon. It lets you put more stuff on the field, synergizes with some of the synchro monsters, helps out with Sting's negation ability, which we'll get to in a second. And it's a level 1, so for your high level tuners, it's just very good to have. But yeah, the burn damage is, I mean, it's there. It doesn't really make much of a difference, but like, I don't know. I guess it can help build over time. Like, if someone could make a pin the bullseye burn deck, that would be awesome, but I don't see that happening. But let's go ahead right into the archetype's only tuner slash best card, Sting the Poison. It's a level 2 insect tuner, 400 attack and 800 defense. And if it's normal or special, you can add a Battle Wasp monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. And as a quick effect, you contribute another insect, then target effect monster your opponent controls, negates effects till the end of the turn as a hard once per turn. So, there are a few more special summons in this archetype, but So you can normal it, get your pen, get your dart, get any monster, like Stratos is always good. And if you get something you can special summon, so like you could get pen or primitive butterfly, or if you already had primitive butterfly, then like, I mean, it's just a negation of a effect in 1 second. Okay, I'm back again. iTunes is being really dumb this time. So yeah, it's Stratos, it negates monster effects, the only in archetype negation, which is bleh, but I mean, at least they have it. Alright, but next monster, another target for Sting search actually is Battlewasps Twinbow the Attacker. During your main phase, you can special summon it for free. However, you can only special summon monsters from your extra deck that are insects for the rest of the turn, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase. The special summon is a once per turn. So ideally, the combo goes Summon Sting, Search Twinbow, or Pen if you already have Twinbow. Special Twinbow, go into the level 5 Synchro. Hopefully you have a way to extend past that point, and then you can go into the level 6, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's a free special summon. It's a good level with the tuners and stuff. It's just great. Next up, we have the last Battlewasp Aura Blast the Rapid Fire. When it's normaled, you can target a level 3 or lower insect in your grave, special summon in defense mode, and if this card and its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a Battlewasp monster from your hand or deck as a hard once per turn. So, it's good recovery, good level, the biggest Battlewasp. Everything kind of is summonable by it, so it's great if you have proper setup. And you might hear a dog there. I don't know if you do or not, but there's a dog. Uh, but yeah, it's just great recovery. Can help you go into the level 6 synchro, which is this one, not this one. But it's just good. Alright, so that's the monsters. Now let's go over spells. We have 1 for 1. Free Foolish Burial Goods, 1 regular Foolish, free Insect Imitation, 1 Summoning Swarm, free Revival Swarm, free Twin Twisters, 1 Super Cocoon of Evolution. So, we'll start with the one-ofs. As far as Foolish Burial goes, we have a lot of Revival and Graveyard setup options with this deck, so it is good to be able to get some monsters in the graveyard. 1 for 1, the level 1s are pretty important. They are basically starter cards, assuming we can get the Insect Imitation, which we'll go over later. But it's graveyard setup, it's a free monster from deck, and then if we have Aura Blast, it's a free revival, big synchros. It's pretty great. So now we have Foolish Burial Goods, which is used to send Super Cocoon of Evolution. I use this in the Trap Tricks video if you watch this, but basically we use Super Cocoon of Evolution for its graveyard effect. You can banish it, target an insect in your graveyard, shuffle it back into the deck, and then draw a card. So it's simple recovery. It lets us get important cards back, and it's a little bit more draw power if we need it. And it gives another purpose to Foolish Burial Goods, Insect Imitation, so on and so forth. But as far as alternate Foolish targets we have Revival Swarm. Revival Swarm is basically Monster Reborn for Battlewasps. However, you can also banish it from your graveyard, target an insect you control, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects till the end of the next turn. So it does protect our big Battlewasp. If we need to play more defensively, super helpful to have. It's just pretty great. Now for the last Battlewasp spell we are running, Summoning Swarm. It lets you target level 4 or lower Battlewasp monsters in your graveyard at the number of monsters your opponent controls, special summon them. It is a hard once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate it, except insects, which is fine because we run all insects. But now you might be wondering, this seems like a very powerful card. Why run it at 1? Well, you see, it's actually not that good. It's awesome. Well, it's situational, to be more accurate. It's awesome if your opponent builds like a huge board, right? And you have a bunch of graveyard setup because then you can just bust back with pretty much your entire graveyard. However, if your opponent does not have a board, as there are some decks that don't really summon monsters at all right now, this is a completely dead draw. It's fine at 1 because it is a comeback option, not a recovery option. But honestly, it's very bricky otherwise. It's more often than not a dead card. If your opponent's playing against sort of a break my board type of deck, then we have 2 more in the side deck, which are helpful, but yeah, just run at your own peril, kind of. As far as the last 2 spells we have Twin Twisters, which everyone knows spell trap removal. It's important now. A lot more decks are running a lot of spell trappy type set a bunch, summon a bunch decks. And we are a beatdown deck, so it is excusable that we do run it free. And our last spell is Insect Imitation. You tribute a monster, special an insect monster from your deck whose level is 1 higher than the tributed monsters. If you will notice, all of our insects are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, assuming we do not just draw a primitive butterfly, which we would special summon anyways, we can summon something to go into something else. Ideally, we will tribute a level 1 to go into our level 2, but it does lead to some other options as well if we want them. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got a bit of a cold right now, so I might sound a little sniffly. But yeah, so Insect Imitation, really good for this deck. It also does Graveyard Setup for Super Cocoon if we need it. So all kinds of synergizing going on. Now for our traps, we're running free Infinite Impermanence, which is just a negate if you didn't know that already. We're playing only second deck, some amount of hand trap is important. And the Battlewasp trap, Battlewasp Nest, is a continuous trap that says, when your Battlewasp monster is targeted for an attack, special a Battlewasp from your hand or deck. And if you do, place 1 counter on this card, then in the battle phase. You can only use this effective Battlewasp Nest once return, and during the end phase, send this card with 2 or more counters to the graveyard. So, this is probably the best in-archetype battle trap I have ever seen. He is fitting because this deck does focus on battling, and it's just such good swarming capability out of this. It's actually super nuts. It protects you from a beatdown. It gives you more resources. It's really just, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. I think it's super well designed. But now let's get right into the extra deck. Starting with our generic links, we have free Greatfly. It is an insect. All of our monsters are wind, so it gives us even more power. It's pretty good. And then we have a new one, Insect Shinobi Hagakuramino. Hagakuramino. It requires 2 monsters with different names linked to a wind insect with 1,000 attack. And while this card points to a monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. And if a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower insect monster from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field as a hard once returned. So, the way its arrows work, we can have it pointing at Greatfly, so when Greatfly is destroyed, we can get a monster back, or we can get a summon, or we could summon it to our extra monster zone, have it point down to one of our monsters or up at one of our opponent's monsters so they can't attack it. So create that fun, funky little battle lock if you can. But it is pretty good. Generic link too. It's alright. Now we're going to go over the Battlewasps Synchro monsters, which is the bread and butter. We are running all the ones that I currently know are released. So first we have 3 copies of Azusa the Ghost Bow. It is a level 5 wind insect tuner with 2200 attack and 1600 defense, generic materials, and when your opponent takes damage by another Battlewasp monster effect, except even during the damage step, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Oh hey, it's Weapon Mojo telling me about some things, which we might get into later. But anyways, so yeah, it does a little bit of burn, and it can special summon itself from the graveyard if a battle involving a Battlewasp monster you control results in a monster being destroyed by the battle. It special summons itself in defense mode, but then it banishes itself when it leaves the field. And you're wondering, how is this helpful? Well, that's where Halberd the Charge comes in. It requires an insect tuner and a non-tuner. So, say, I don't know, Pen plus Azusa. And once per battle during damage calc, if this card attacks an opponent's monster with equal or higher attack as a quick effect, you can have that monster's attack during damage calc. When this card inflicts damage to the battle damage to your opponent, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp you control as a hard monster's turn. So ideally, you'll summon Azusa, use Azusa to go into charge. Charge will kill something by battle, summoning Azusa, then charge will do its burn effect, which Azusa will burn a little bit more for. So that's generally how things will go down, or how ideally things will go down. But there are a few more. We have Hama the Conquering Bow. Again, generic materials, and if it was synchro summoned using a synchro monster as material, like Azusa, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. And once per turn, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can have all monsters your opponent controls lose a 1,000 attack, and at the end of the battle phase in which your opponent did not take battle damage, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp monster in your graveyard. So again, big graveyard setup type deck. It does care about having a lot of monsters there. So Hama's a pretty good option actually if you want to push for game. But generally speaking, Hama, it is a little bit weird to make with the deck, but it's a good card if you can get it out. If you get Azusa as well, it's pretty much an OTK, but again, not easy to pull off. But anyways, now for the last one, Battlewasp Ballista the Armageddon. 3,000 attack, 800 defense, level 12, generic materials. And if it's special summoned, you can banish all insect monsters from your graveyard. Then all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 500 attack for each card banished, or each of your banished insect monsters. But again, you're only banishing insect monsters, so yeah. If this card, it does piercing, and if this synchro summon card is in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon 3 of your banished level 11 or lower insect monsters. So, say you've been building up into this big ballista here. You ban it, you've gotten your charge, you've gotten your ghost bow, you've gotten Hama somehow, and then this dies. You can get Hama, charge, and Azusa back for free. Even if it dies by any means, it just has to be destroyed. But like, it's a very good card, kind of difficult to make, but the fact that the materials are generic is pretty good. Pen not being a once per turn special summon definitely helps out, but it's just a good one-of to have. It's very fun if you can get it. and it does give some pretty massive recovery as well as helping you beat your opponent down some more. So it's good at one. Now for the side deck, we are running 3 Kaijus. This time we are doing Gandaria, the Mystery Dust Kaiju, is also a wind insect. Thus it can synergize with the rest of our cards. 1 Dark Hole for the Mystic Mine matchup. 2 or more Summoning Swarm in case our opponent builds big boards. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon in case we need even more spell trap removal. 3 Called in case hand traps or graveyard setup is a big thing with our opponent. And 3 Red Reboot in case we're playing against some particularly trap-heavy decks because battle traps are an issue for us. But yeah, so that was the deck profile. If you're new here, we just play 3 games. Hope they go well. And if they do, we talk about it. If they don't, we talk about it. But we'll definitely talk about something afterwards with the deck, my thoughts and feelings, etc. so forth. But yeah, that being said, I'll see you guys in the first game. Alright, on to the first game with blank. We are Barry Battle Benson, a B-movie joke, if you haven't seen it. Which, weirdly enough, the more I think about it, the less I hate that movie. It's really weird. Alright, but it looks like, well, we actually don't know what we're playing against. We know we're playing against a Spellbook engine. We can definitely tell that. I know Wind Witches are actually sick with the Spellbook engine. But we opened okay. Alright, okay, so we're just playing at some Dark Magician. Fair enough. Alright, searching the Dark Magician. Alright, setting. And passing. So no Dark Magical Circle. So this is actually much less scary. So we'll start by special summoning the Primitive Butterfly. Activate Pen's ability to summon himself. And real fast, burn! Ha! Take that 200, sir. Alright, so yeah, now we're going to do the Insect Invitation, Tribute Pen, summon Sting from our deck. Sting's effect will search as a Twin Bow. No. Yeah, so we want Twin Bow right now. Look at that. Now we can special our Twin Bow. No. So we could actually summon Armageddon here if we wanted to. But that would super not work. Let's make sure this doesn't have any disruptive effects. Let's see. Add DM during damage calc. No, that doesn't really help him, so yeah, we can go ahead and just summon Azusa, I think. Like this. Oh, you struck my Azusa, sir. He struck our freaking Azusa. What a fiend. So that's unfortunate. And now you kind of see the problem with the deck. Interruptions? Yeah, interruptions hurt. Like, a lot. We can't even use the nest because we don't have a Battlewasp. But at this point we can just kind of hope we don't die immediately. Oh, 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. Had to blow my nose a little there. But yeah, looks like... Alright, setting 2. If one of those is the Eternal Soul, we can top deck Twin Twisters here and potentially be good. However, if that's also Eternal Soul, we are kind of in trouble. So, Alright, the top deck here is... I guess it's Twin Twisters. Okay. We'll drop the Insect Imitation to... And does he have the negate? I don't remember. I'm gonna guess that he has Eternal Soul here. Right, so there's the Magician's Navigation. Oh, does he not have Eternal Soul? He had Eternal Soul. Okay, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it triggers or not. Apparently it doesn't trigger when it's face down. Okay, that is... Let's see. Once, every Dark Magician is unaffected by opponents. If this face-up card... Ooh, okay. Well, that rustles... That rustles my feathers. Shoulda hit the Dark Magical Circle. Learning Dark Magician facts here. That's my bad though. Definitely my bad. But I still don't think he has lethal here. So it was actually very smart of him to make the negate. Like that was a good play. Good play, sir. Good play. Yeah. Now you might be thinking in this situation, I bet you wish you had ran more Summoning Swarm. And you're somewhat not wrong. Somewhat not wrong. Impermanence. Which actually doesn't help us because Naruto, the moral leader, is here. We'll set that there. Hope he negates something else. Just has an aneurysm and decides to not stop us. I think I can negate Naruto. Please don't stop us. I'd very much appreciate that. Yeah, he is stopping us. He is stopping us. So that's gonna be game. Unfortunate, but hey, that's how it is when you get any amount interrupted. But, yeah. Well played by Blank. Well played by Blank. I definitely did not know some things, but he did make very good plays. But yeah, I guess I'll just see you guys in game 2. We'll do game 2 of player. Alright, sick, we done that. So we're gonna go second. And I mean, it's not awful, actually. So we can twin, dropping a dart, summon dart, activate imitation, search, summon sting, search pen, special twin bow, go into Azusa, special pen. Yeah, this could work, actually. This could work. Sorry about that again. Not feeling up to snuff at the moment exactly, but looks like we're playing against some Noble Knights. I sold his nuts with... I noticed they're like monster, but it actually makes them playable. It's insane. Uh, so already used the boars. What do you search here? I'm not exactly sure what you search here. Noble Knights. Ooh, searching brothers. Interesting. Noble Knights, though, not known for making a lot of interruptions, so maybe this works out for us. Alright, but he did send good mills. He sent those good mills. Gawain. Pass. Powerful plays! Powerful plays. Okay, let's see. The Morgan is not online, so not worried about that. Oh, yeah, looks like we're actually going to be able to go off here. So the invitation, insect invitation to... Unless he just has, like... Okay, good. Yeah, we're going off. Yep, we need to search ourselves that pen. Pen is... The pen is the boy, pretty much. So now we will go into Azusa. Like so. Special summon pen. Pen's effect to burn. No. We'll not be using Azusa's effect on that 200. Now we go into charge. Like that. Battle. Attack Gawain. Yes. Yes, Azusa. Yeah, also this. For maximum damage. Now we'll go into main phase 2. Set the impermanence. And pass turn. As soon as he normal summons that brothers, we are in a 6 spot here. Yeah. The Noble Knights really need their normal summon because we had set the impermanence. It will negate the activate effects of Isolde in this column. So unless he has just a bunch of equipped spells in hands, which is possible, we're in a fairly good position here. Believe it should be negated. If this card is set or activation on the field, resolution are all spell trap effects in this column. So honestly, that's still fine. If he does have a equipped spell, potentially have a problem, or he's just gonna pass. Okay. I feel bad about just going up with this pricked Noble Knight player, but unfortunately, how it crumble in sometimes. So we can go ahead and just normal summon Sting. Bait out hand traps, but if not, then... Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. We do have some special summons we could do here. We could summon Hama. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be super great because... Or actually, let me read Hama and make sure. Let's see. If this was synchro summon using a synchro monster as material, can make a second attack. I I mean, actually, yeah, Hama's good here. I like Hama here. So yeah, Hama. So it can make second attack now. That's pretty good. Battle. Let's see, make sure it can make a second attack during each battle phase. So we beat over with that. Hama pushes for game. If I did it right, and I'm understanding his effect correctly. Yep, Hama for game. So we did manage a win. The deck did get to go off, which was pretty nice. Admittedly, it was against Noble Knights that bricked, the deck that already doesn't really set up turn 1 boards much. But, you know what? Win's a win. We're 1 for 1 at the moment. Hopefully the last game will go well. I'll see you guys there. Okay, on to the final game with Flippity. I'm predicting some form of flip-based deck here. Okay, this hand's not bad. Or we're just playing against counter fairies, I guess. Okay, cool. Yep, counter fairies. Very cool. Very cool counter fairies, very cool. Card of Demise. Actually, no, that's kind of fair. Duality right now, sir? Why didn't you grab the Omni-Negate one? Okay, so not in an awful position here. We can definitely force some stuff out. So pop the Guiding Ariadne. That's pretty important to them. And I know a lot of their counter traps do rely on Sanctuary in the Sky, so we'll hit those. Alright, go ahead. I don't mind that. So that's one counter trap gone. Now this is pretty much our worst matchup. I want to be perfectly clear about that. Twin Bow on its own, not very good. Can confirm, not very good. I mean, we can set it and hope for the best, but that's pretty much all. I don't think counter fairies can OTK, so I'm not worried in that regard. Hopefully, though, he does. Our primary concern, honestly, is him, let's see what he grabs. It is... Oh, another Omni-Gate. But, yeah, our primary concern is him having the ability to counter either of our revival spells. So we are taking bid damage here. Unfortunately. Alright, so in phase, our turn. Primitive Butterfly. We will special summon it. With the hope that our opponent... Okay, perfect, actually. We actually needed that to happen. We will shuffle back the Primitive Butterfly. Okay, honestly, this still isn't great, but it potentially handles another negate. Okay, we could build somewhat of a board. Build somewhat a board. We can go ahead and hit him up with the Summoning Swarm. revive these two. Let's see. This is rough. We could make a Hogakurumo if we wanted. It probably wouldn't be too good though, so it'll... Right, so first we attack over the Ariadne. Crash into the Bountiful Artemis. Great Fly's effect will recycle itself. And then we can actually get in a little bit of damage with Twin Bow. Okay, so still in a rough spot here. I kinda want to keep the Aura Blast on the field for its floating effect. But definitely not in a great... Better than we were. Better than we were. It is unfortunate that he just got 2 pots of indulgence. Hopefully he can't summon a monster. Because if he can't, we can just attack. It's counter fairies, so drop off. Oh, that's unfortunate. Thankfully it doesn't really do much on the field now. I think we can do something. As long as our revival swarm doesn't get negated. Yes. No. Okay, so we'll get Pen. Special summon Pen. No. He doesn't have anything that can really stop us here, so... Sorry, yeah, apparently we win. So, the plan was going to be to go into Azusa, go into charge, attack over, summon Azusa back. Then we are going to just attack with rapid fire. So yeah, somehow we actually were gonna bring that back. I mean, go us, but yeah, so ended up actually winning. It seems like our opponent just didn't have the proper negates for us, I guess, but yeah, so that was the deck. I think the big problem with this deck is that if it's interrupted, like, even once, it is unlikely that you can recover. So I think what it really needs is, like, a Ancient Gear Fortress type card. You know, just something that says, hey, stuff can't happen when you make a summon. Like, that would actually make this deck work a heck of a lot better, I think. But, yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Any ways I could Battlewasps better? Any obvious synergies I am missing? Just things I can do better, ideas and suggestions for videos, for archetypes and stuff that you want to see done. But, yeah, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.